Today, I'm breaking this silent female code, and after this video, you'll see 9 cheating clues you used to miss completely. I'm about to share something that might shatter your illusions about female loyalty. Today I'm giving you a map of female psychology. But before we start, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. This content could change your life, and I want you to never miss an important video. And by the way, write in the comments what city you're from. I'm curious to know where the men live who are ready to learn the truth. I want to see how global this community of aware men really is. Pay special attention to clue number 7. This is the point of no return in female psychology. After this moment, no amount of your efforts, gifts, or behavioral changes will help anymore. Knowing this clue will save you from humiliating attempts to win back a woman who is already internally free. Don't make the mistake that 90% of men make. And if you stay until the end, I'll reveal the one thing you can say to immediately test if she's already emotionally gone. It's a simple question that will give you the answer you need, even if it's not the answer you want. Clue 1. The memory erasure. The first clue is something most men never notice because it happens so gradually, like watching someone fade away in slow motion. She starts forgetting things about you that she used to remember perfectly. Your coffee order that she's known for years, she suddenly asks again, as if she's meeting you for the first time. Your work schedule that never changed, she acts surprised when you come home at your usual time. That story you told her about your childhood that always made her smile. She looks at you blankly when you reference it, like you're speaking a foreign language. But it goes deeper than just forgetting facts. She forgets the emotional significance of things. Your anniversary date becomes just another day on the calendar. The restaurant where you had your first date. She suggests it casually, as if it has no history. The inside jokes that used to make her laugh. She stares at you like you're speaking in code. This isn't ordinary forgetfulness. This isn't the kind of absent-mindedness that comes with stress or being busy. This is selective amnesia. Her brain is unconsciously deleting information about you because you're no longer priority data worth storing. Let me explain the psychology behind this. When we're emotionally connected to someone, our brains automatically catalog everything about them. We remember their preferences, their habits, their stories, their dreams. It happens without effort because emotional investment drives memory formation. But when that emotional investment starts shifting away, the brain literally stops encoding new information about that person. It's like she's clearing her mental hard drive to make space for someone else's information. The cruel irony. While she's forgetting everything about you, she's probably memorizing every detail about someone else. Their favorite songs, their work schedule, their childhood stories, their dreams for the future. Her memory didn't get worse, it just redirected. This is one of the earliest clues because memory and emotion are so closely linked. When the emotion starts dying, the memories start fading, and eventually, even the old memories become less vivid, less important, less worth preserving. You might test this without realizing it. You'll mention something that used to be significant between you, an inside joke, a shared experience, a conversation you had, and she'll look at you with that distant expression that says, "I remember that happening, but I don't remember why it mattered." That's when you know her emotional hard drive is being reformatted for someone else. She's not just forgetting your present, she's erasing your shared past to make room for a future that doesn't include you. Clue 2, the compliment deflection. Here's a clue that will shock you because it seems so innocent at first. She stops accepting compliments from you, not just brushing them off, actively rejecting them, as if your positive words about her are somehow offensive or unwelcome. You tell her she looks beautiful, and instead of the smile that used to light up her face, she says, "I look tired," or "this old thing," with a tone that suggests you're either lying or blind. You praise something she accomplished, and she immediately points out what went wrong or gives all the credit to someone else. But here's the part that will really mess with your head. She lights up when other people compliment her. Suddenly, she's all smiles and gracious thank yous. Your words bounce off her like she's wearing emotional armor, but everyone else's words penetrate perfectly. Watch this pattern carefully. A stranger at the coffee shop says she has a nice smile. She beams with genuine pleasure. A coworker mentions she did good work on a project. She accepts it gracefully and with pride. But when you tell her she's beautiful or smart or talented, she deflects, minimizes, or outright rejects your words. The psychology behind this is devastating once you understand it. When a woman is emotionally checking out, she stops valuing your opinion. Your compliments feel empty to her because she no longer sees you as someone whose judgment matters. She's not being modest, she's being dismissive. This happens because compliments require emotional receptivity. When someone loves you, your positive words about them feel good because they value how you see them. Your opinion carries weight in their emotional world. But when that emotional connection breaks down, compliments from you start feeling hollow, even annoying. It's like this. Imagine someone you don't respect trying to give you career advice. Even if the advice is good, you're not receptive to it because you don't value their opinion. That's what's happening when she deflects your compliments. You've lost credibility in her emotional world. But watch how she responds to compliments from others. A friend says she looks nice. She says thank you with genuine warmth. A family member praises her cooking. She's pleased and appreciative. The mailman comments on her garden. She's flattered and engages in friendly conversation. This is devastating because compliments are how we show appreciation and maintain connection. When she rejects yours while accepting others, she's unconsciously telling you that your voice no longer carries weight in her world. Your opinions about her no longer influence how she feels about herself. The most painful part? She probably doesn't even realize she's doing it. It's an unconscious response to her changing feelings. But the message is clear. What you think about her no longer matters to her emotional well-being. This clue often makes men try harder, giving more compliments or more elaborate praise, thinking they need to convince her of her worth. But that's exactly the wrong response. She doesn't want your compliments because she doesn't want your attention. More compliments just make you seem desperate to someone who's already decided your opinion doesn't matter. Clue 3. The laughter dies. This clue breaks my heart every time I see it, because laughter is such a pure expression of connection. Women laugh easily with people we're connected to. We giggle at silly things, find humor in ordinary moments, share inside jokes that make no sense to anyone else but feel hilarious to us. But when emotional disconnection begins, your humor stops landing. It's like there's an invisible wall between your jokes and her joy. The jokes that used to make her burst out laughing now get polite smiles at best. The funny observations that once made her eyes light up are met with blank stares or forced chuckles. Meanwhile, she's laughing freely with everyone else. Her coworkers are apparently hilarious. Her friends send her memes that make her crack up. Even strangers can make her laugh more easily than you can. You start to wonder if you've somehow lost your sense of humor, but that's not what happened. Let me explain what's really going on here. Laughter requires emotional openness. It requires a state of relaxation, trust, and connection. When a woman closes herself off from you emotionally, humor becomes one of the first casualties because she literally can't access the emotional state needed to find you funny anymore. It's not that your jokes got worse, it's that her receptivity to you has diminished. Humor is intimate. It requires vulnerability and openness. When someone is emotionally guarding themselves from you, they can't let your humor in because that would mean letting you in. Think about it. When you're angry with someone, do their jokes land the same way? When you're emotionally distant from someone, does their humor affect you the same way? Of course not. Emotional state determines humor reception. But here's what makes this clue so painful. She's not being difficult. She's not choosing to not laugh at your jokes. She literally can't access the emotional openness required to find you funny anymore. Her emotional walls have gone up, and humor can't penetrate those walls. Watch how she responds to different types of humor. Self-deprecating jokes about you. She might actually find those funny because they confirm her negative feelings. Jokes that require shared intimacy or understanding. Dead silence. Observational humor about things you both experience. No reaction. But then watch her with others. She'll laugh at the most mundane comments from coworkers, giggle at silly memes from friends, and find genuine humor in conversations with strangers. Her capacity for laughter didn't die. It just became unavailable to you. This is particularly devastating because shared laughter is often how couples bond. It's how we create lightness, connection, and joy together. When that connection dies, it takes so much intimacy with it. You lose not just the laughter, but the feeling of being a team, of being on the same wavelength, of sharing a private world of humor that belongs to just you two. You'll start to notice that she laughs at things that aren't that funny when other people say them, but your genuinely funny comments get nothing. It's not about the quality of the humor, it's about the quality of the emotional connection. She's emotionally available to find others funny, but emotionally closed off to finding you funny. This often makes men try to be funnier, to work harder for laughs, to become more entertaining. But that's exactly the wrong approach. She doesn't want to laugh with you because she doesn't want to connect with you. Trying harder just makes you look desperate for connection to someone who's already emotionally unavailable. Clue 4, the question drought. This clue is subtle but absolutely devastating once you recognize it. She stops asking you questions about your day, your thoughts, your feelings, your plans, your dreams, your opinions. Anything that would require her to genuinely care about your inner world. Think about it. When you care about someone, you're naturally curious about their inner world. You ask follow-up questions, dig deeper into their experiences, want to understand their perspective on things. Questions are how we explore each other's minds and hearts. How did that meeting go? What did you think about that movie? How are you feeling about your mum's situation? What's your take on what happened with your friend? What are you excited about this week? These kinds of questions flow naturally when you're emotionally invested in someone, but when emotional investment fades, so does curiosity. She might still respond when you talk, might even seem like she's listening, but she's not initiating exploration of your mind anymore. The questions that used to flow naturally just stop. The conversation becomes completely one-sided. You're still asking about her day, her thoughts, her feelings, her plans. But she's not reciprocating. She answers your questions, but doesn't ask any back. It's like talking to someone who's being polite, but not actually interested. You'll notice this most clearly in daily conversations. You come home and ask how her day was. She gives you a brief summary. Then, silence. No, how was your day? No curiosity about your experiences. No follow-up questions about things you mentioned earlier. You might share something exciting that happened to you, and instead of questions showing interest, you get a flat, "That's nice," or "cool." You mention a problem you're dealing with, and instead of asking for details or offering to help, she changes the subject or gives generic advice. Here's the deeper meaning. Questions are investments in connection. When she stops asking them, she's unconsciously communicating that she no longer needs or wants to know you more deeply. You've become a closed book because she's no longer interested in reading. This creates a terrible cycle. The less she asks, the less you share. The less you share, the more distant you become. But she's not asking because she's already emotionally distant. It's not the cause. It's the symptom. You might try to compensate by sharing more without being asked, but that often makes things worse because now you're giving information she didn't request, which can feel like oversharing or neediness to someone who's already checked out. The most heartbreaking part is when you realize that she's probably asking other people the questions she's not asking you. She's curious about other people's thoughts, feelings, and experiences. Her capacity for curiosity didn't die. It just redirected away from you. Listen to how she talks to others on the phone or in person. She asks her friends detailed questions about their lives. She shows genuine interest in her coworkers' projects. She engages curiously with strangers about their experiences. But with you, nothing. This clue often makes men become more talkative, thinking they need to fill the silence or share more to spark her interest. But that's exactly wrong. She's not asking questions because she doesn't want the answers. She's not curious about you because she's already decided you're not worth being curious about. Clue 5. The energy mismatch. Here's a clue that will make everything click into place once you understand it. Her energy completely mismatches the situation when she's with you. It's like you're both actors in different plays, reading from different scripts, performing for different audiences. You're excited about something. She's flat and unresponsive. You're trying to be romantic. She's distracted and distant. You want to have a serious conversation about your relationship. She's suddenly very busy with other things. You're upset about something important. She's unusually calm and detached, like she's watching your pain from behind glass. But it goes beyond just emotional mismatches. Her physical energy is off too. You want to go out and do something together. She's suddenly tired. You're feeling affectionate and want physical closeness. She becomes busy with tasks. You're in a good mood and want to share it. She finds reasons to be in a different room. It's like you're both in different emotional movies. Your emotional reality and hers never sync up anymore. When you're high, she's low. When you're trying to connect, she's pulling away. When you need support, she's unavailable. When you want to celebrate, she's subdued. This is exhausting for both people, but for different reasons. You feel like you can never reach her, like you're always emotionally alone even when she's right there. She feels like you're always wanting something she can't give, like you're emotionally demanding in ways that feel overwhelming. But here's what's actually happening. She's emotionally out of sync with you because her emotional rhythm is now synchronized with someone or something else. Her energy is matching a different frequency, just not yours. Think of it like this. When you're in love with someone, you naturally start to sync up emotionally. Their mood affects your mood. Their energy influences your energy. You start to operate as an emotional unit, responding to each other's internal states. But when someone starts emotionally investing elsewhere, that sync breaks down. Her emotional rhythm starts matching someone else's frequency. Maybe it's another person. Maybe it's her idea of life without you. Maybe it's her fantasy of who she could become if she was free. The result is that you feel like strangers living in the same space. You're trying to connect with someone who's emotionally tuned to a different station. Your attempts at intimacy feel forced because you're not actually on the same wavelength anymore. This clue is particularly confusing because it's not about what she does. It's about how she feels while she's doing it. She might go through the motions of being your partner, but the emotional energy behind those motions is completely off. You start to feel crazy because everything looks normal on the surface, but something fundamental feels wrong. That's because energy doesn't lie. You're picking up on the fact that she's emotionally elsewhere, even if you can't articulate what you're sensing. You might try to match her energy, thinking that if you just adjust your mood to hers, you'll reconnect. But that doesn't work, because she's not trying to connect with you at all. Her energy is directed elsewhere, and no amount of adjustment on your part will bring her back to your frequency. Sometimes you'll notice brief moments where her energy does match yours, usually when she wants something from you or when she's feeling guilty about her behavior. But those moments are performances, not genuine connection. They feel different because they are different. The most painful aspect of this clue is that you can feel her reserving her best energy for others. She's tired around you but energetic with friends. She's subdued in your conversations but animated on the phone with others. She's emotionally flat when you're together, but lights up when certain people text or call. Clue 6. The sudden independence. This clue catches men completely off guard because it looks positive at first glance. She suddenly becomes very independent, very capable, I don't need anyone for anything. She starts doing things alone that she used to want to share with you. She solves problems without asking for your input. She makes decisions without consulting you. She handles challenges without seeking your support. She becomes a one-woman army, tackling everything solo. On the surface, this might seem like personal growth, and some men even feel proud at first. Look how strong and independent she's becoming. But there's a crucial difference between healthy independence and emotional preparation for departure. Healthy independence includes you in the celebration of her growth. She might say things like, I'm so glad I figured that out myself, but I want to tell you about it. Or, I handled this on my own, and it felt great. What do you think? But unhealthy independence excludes you from everything, as if depending on you in any way would be a weakness or a mistake. She doesn't share her victories, doesn't seek your perspective, doesn't want your involvement in any capacity. She's not becoming independent, she's practicing being without you. Every task she handles alone, every decision she makes solo, every problem she solves independently is rehearsal for a life where you're not there to help, support, or contribute. The psychology behind this is preparation for separation. When someone is planning to leave a relationship, they unconsciously start testing their ability to function without their partner. They start proving to themselves that they don't need that person. But here's what makes this so confusing. She might frame this as self-improvement or personal growth. She might even criticize you for being bothered by her independence, saying things like, "I thought you'd be happy that I'm handling things myself," or, "Why do you want me to be dependent on you?" But the real tell is in the emotional tone. Healthy independence feels collaborative even when it's solo. She's independent but still connected to you. She handles things herself but still wants to share the experience with you. Unhealthy independence feels isolating and exclusionary. She's independent and disconnected from you. She handles things herself and specifically doesn't want to share the experience with you. You start to feel like a roommate rather than a partner. She doesn't need your help, doesn't want your input, doesn't seek your support. You become unnecessary in her daily life, which is exactly what she's unconsciously preparing for. This often extends to emotional independence too. She stops coming to you when she's upset, stressed, or excited. She finds other sources of support, other people to celebrate with, other shoulders to cry on. You become emotionally irrelevant in her life. Watch how she handles both positive and negative situations. Good news? She doesn't think to share it with you first. Bad news? She doesn't come to you for comfort. Problems? She solves them without mentioning them to you. Successes? She celebrates with others. The most telling aspect is that this independence seems to specifically exclude you while including others. She might ask friends for advice, accept help from family, or collaborate with co-workers. But you're shut out of everything. This clue often makes men feel unnecessary and unappreciated, which is exactly right. You are becoming unnecessary in her life because she's systematically removing her dependence on you in preparation for removing you entirely. Clue 7. The criticism shift, point of no return. Here's the clue I warned you about, the point of no return. This is when her criticism fundamentally changes from specific behaviors to your character as a person. It's the difference between "fix this thing you did" and "you are fundamentally flawed as a human being." It's no longer "you forgot to take out the trash again." It becomes "you never think about anyone but yourself." Not "you were late tonight," but "you're always unreliable and inconsiderate." Not "I wish you'd help more with housework," but "you just don't care about anything that matters to me or anyone else." She's not trying to improve specific behaviors anymore. She's building a comprehensive case against who you are as a person. Every flaw becomes evidence of your fundamental incompatibility. Every mistake proves her point that this relationship is hopeless because you are hopeless. The shift is from loving criticism to character assassination. Loving criticism is designed to help you grow and improve the relationship. It's specific, constructive, and comes from a place of hope that things can get better. When you do X, it makes me feel Y. Could you try Z instead? But character assassination is designed to justify leaving. It's sweeping, destructive, and comes from a place of certainty that things cannot and will not get better because the problem is you, not your actions. You always do X because that's just who you are, and people like you never change. Here's why this is the point of no return. Once a woman shifts from criticizing what you do to criticizing who you are, she's already emotionally divorced from you. She's not trying to fix the relationship. She's documenting why it can't be fixed. When someone loves you, they see your flaws as things that can be worked on. When someone is preparing to leave you, they see your flaws as evidence that you're the wrong person for them. The same behavior that used to be something we can work on together becomes proof that you're not the man I thought you were. Listen to the language she uses. Does she say, "You did this," or "You are this"? Does she address specific incidents, or make sweeping generalizations about your character? Does she offer solutions, or just catalogue your failures? You're selfish. You're immature. You're just like your father. You're not the man I fell in love with. You'll never change. This is just who you are. These aren't criticisms, they're verdicts. The most dangerous part is that this type of criticism often makes men try harder, thinking they need to prove their character. But you can't prove your character to someone who's already decided your character is the problem. You could become perfect overnight, and she'd find new character flaws to focus on because the criticism isn't really about improvement, it's about justification. She's also likely sharing these character assassinations with others. She's telling friends, family, maybe co-workers about how fundamentally flawed you are as a person. She's building a support network that agrees with her assessment that you're the problem. After this point, nothing you change will matter because she's decided the problem is your fundamental character, not your behaviors. You could become perfect overnight, and she'd find new character flaws to focus on because the criticism isn't really about improvement. It's about building a case for why she deserves better. This is the most dangerous clue because it destroys your self-esteem while she's destroying the relationship. You start to believe maybe you really are fundamentally flawed. Maybe you really are the problem. Maybe you really don't deserve love. But here's the truth. If someone has to tear down your character to justify leaving you, the problem isn't your character. It's their cowardice in admitting they just don't want to be with you anymore. Clue 8, the time accounting. Here's the 8th clue that reveals everything about her internal state. She starts treating time with you like a debt she has to pay, rather than a gift she wants to give. She becomes very conscious of how much time she's spending on you. She starts keeping mental tallies. "I already talked to him for 20 minutes today," or "We just had dinner together yesterday," or "I gave him attention this morning. That should be enough." Time with you becomes an obligation she fulfills rather than an experience she enjoys. She gives you the minimum required to avoid conflict, but every minute feels calculated, measured, rationed, like she's managing a limited resource that she resents having to spend. You can feel this change even if she never explicitly says anything. The quality of her presence changes completely. She's physically there but mentally elsewhere, and you get the sense that she's counting down until she can legitimately leave or focus on something else. This is devastating because when someone loves you, time with you feels like it passes too quickly. They're disappointed when conversations end, sad when dates are over, reluctant to say goodbye. Time feels abundant and precious at the same time. But when someone is emotionally checking out, every minute feels long because they'd rather be somewhere else. They're not present in the moment with you because they're thinking about what they'd rather be doing, where they'd rather be, who they'd rather be with. The psychological shift here is from investment to transaction. When she loved you, time together was an investment in your connection. She gave it freely because it paid dividends in intimacy, joy, and bonding. The time itself was valuable because of what it created between you. But now, time with you feels transactional. She gives you attention like she's paying a bill, the minimum required to keep things functional, but with resentment about having to pay it at all. She's not investing in your connection anymore. She's just fulfilling an obligation. You might notice she starts setting time limits on conversations or activities. "I can talk for a few minutes," or "I have to leave in an hour." Not because she has pressing commitments, but because she needs to know there's an endpoint to her time with you. Watch how she manages her schedule around you. She used to be flexible, willing to extend conversations, happy to spend unexpected time together. Now everything feels scheduled, limited, grudgingly given. She acts like time with you is taking away from something more important. The cruelest part is that she's probably giving unlimited time to other people or activities. She'll scroll social media for hours, talk to friends indefinitely, or pursue hobbies with enthusiasm. Her time didn't become more limited. Her willingness to share it with you did. She might even explicitly mention time in ways that make you feel like a burden. I don't have time for this right now. You're taking up too much of my time. I need time for myself. These statements reveal that she sees time with you as a cost, not a benefit. This clue often makes men try to be more efficient with their time together, thinking they need to make the most of limited moments. But that's exactly wrong. She's not limiting time because she's busy. She's limiting time because she doesn't want to spend it with you. The most telling aspect is how she prioritizes time. New opportunities, sudden invitations, spontaneous plans with others. These take priority over time with you. You become the default option, the backup plan, the obligation she fulfills when nothing better is available. Clue 9. The future freeze. The final clue is the most heartbreaking because it represents the death of hope. She stops building future memories with you in her mind. She used to dream out loud about things you'd do together, trips you'd take, experiences you'd share, goals you'd achieve as a team. She'd make plans weeks or months in advance, excited about shared adventures and milestones. When we go to Europe next year, I can't wait until we have our own place. We should start saving for that car we want. These kinds of future-oriented statements used to pepper your conversations naturally. She'd talk about growing old together, meeting each other's extended family, building traditions, creating a life that belonged to both of you. Now, when you bring up future plans, she becomes vague, non-committal, or changes the subject entirely. She might agree to immediate plans, what to do this weekend, where to have dinner tomorrow, but shows no enthusiasm for anything beyond the next few weeks. The reason is simple, but devastating. In her mind, the future doesn't include you. She's not making long-term plans because she doesn't see this relationship lasting long-term. Every future conversation feels like lying to her because she knows something you don't, that she's already planning her exit. This represents complete emotional divestment. She's not just disconnected from who you are now, she's disconnected from who you could become together. She's not just checked out of the present, she's closed the door on the future. What makes this particularly painful is that she might still make future plans for herself. She'll talk about career goals, personal aspirations, places she wants to visit, things she wants to experience. But these futures are singular, not plural. They're about her, not about you two together. Listen carefully to her language. Does she say, "I want to," or "we should"? Does she include you in her vision of the future, or speak as if she's planning a solo life? Does she get excited about shared goals or only individual ones? Sometimes she might even accidentally reveal this by talking about future plans in ways that don't include you, then catching herself and trying to backtrack. I'm thinking about moving to... Pause. We're thinking about moving too. But the original slip was the truth. She's already planning a future without you, even if she hasn't told you yet. You might try to insert yourself into her future plans, suggesting ways you could be involved or how you could support her goals. But she becomes uncomfortable with these suggestions, preferring to keep her future vision separate from your presence. The most painful aspect is watching her get excited about futures that don't include you. She lights up when talking about her individual goals, her personal dreams, her solo adventures, but mention building something together, and the enthusiasm dies immediately. This clue often makes men try to create shared future plans, thinking they can reignite her vision of a life together. But she's not avoiding future planning because she can't see it. She's avoiding it because she can see it clearly, and you're not in it. When a woman reaches this point, she's already emotionally moved out of the relationship. She might still be physically present, still going through the motions, but psychologically, she's already living a different life, one where you're a memory, not a partner. The future she envisions might include someone else, or it might just be her alone. But either way, it's a future where your absence is a feature, not a bug. She's not planning around you anymore. She's planning despite you. This is why this clue represents the final stage of emotional departure. She's not just unhappy with the present, she's closed to the possibility of a different future with you. In her mind, the story is over. She's just waiting for the right time to write the ending. Now, as promised, here's the one question you can ask to immediately test if she's already emotionally gone. It's simple, but her response will tell you everything you need to know. Ask her this: if you could wave a magic wand and fix everything that's wrong between us instantly, would you want to? Listen carefully to her response, not just her words, but her energy, her hesitation, her body language. If she's still emotionally invested, she'll light up at the possibility. She'll say yes immediately, and maybe even elaborate on what she'd want to be different. There will be hope and enthusiasm in her response. If she's emotionally gone, she'll hesitate, give a non-committal answer, or start listing reasons why it's more complicated than that. She might say something like, "I don't know if it's that simple," or "there's too much damage," or "I'm not sure we're compatible." This question cuts through all the confusion and gets to the heart of the matter. Does she want this relationship to work, or has she already decided it's over? Here's something nobody tells you about love. It's not just about finding the right person. It's about being the right person at the right time in both of your lives. Sometimes people grow in different directions. Sometimes life changes people in ways that make them incompatible with who they used to love. These clues don't make her a bad person, they make her human. She's trying to communicate in the only way she knows how that something fundamental has shifted inside her. The question isn't whether these clues are fair or unfair. The question is, what are you going to do with this information? If you recognize these clues in your relationship, you have 3 choices. Option 1, address it directly. Have the uncomfortable conversation. Ask if she wants to work on rebuilding the connection, or if she's already decided this isn't what she wants anymore. Demand honesty, not vague reassurances. Use the magic wand question I gave you, but be prepared for the answer. If she's past the point of no return, clue 7 and beyond, trying to fix things might just prolong the inevitable and damage your self-respect in the process. Option 2, give her space to be truthful. Sometimes women stay in dying relationships because they're afraid of hurting you, or because they're comfortable with the security you provide. Permission to be honest can free both of you. Tell her something like, "I've noticed some changes in how we connect, and I want you to know that if you're not happy, or if you've realized this isn't what you want, I'd rather know the truth than live in uncertainty." Option 3, choose your dignity. If someone has to completely disconnect from you emotionally to be happy, they're telling you everything you need to know about your compatibility. Don't fight for someone who's already mentally gone. This doesn't mean you're giving up easily. It means you're respecting yourself enough to not chase someone who's already running away. Here's what I've learned from watching countless relationships end. Most of the time, these clues aren't about you being a bad person or doing something terribly wrong. They're about 2 people who have grown incompatible for reasons that might be nobody's fault. But here's what is your responsibility: recognizing these clues when they appear and responding with dignity rather than desperation. Don't use these clues to become paranoid or controlling. Use them to become more aware and more honest about the reality of your relationships. Don't use them to try to manipulate someone into staying. Use them to recognize when someone is already gone, so you can stop fighting for something that no longer exists. You deserve someone who sees time with you as a gift, not a debt. Someone who includes you in their independence rather than using independence to exclude you. Someone who criticizes your actions with love rather than assassinating your character with resentment. Most importantly, you deserve someone who chooses you every day, not someone who stays with you out of habit, fear, or convenience. The goal of understanding these clues isn't to save every relationship. Some relationships are meant to end. The goal is to save yourself from the confusion, self-doubt, and wasted energy that comes from not understanding what's really happening. When you know these clues, you can make informed decisions about your life and your happiness. You can choose to fight for relationships that are worth fighting for, and you can choose to walk away from relationships that are already over. Write in the comments which clue hit you hardest. Share this video with other men who deserve to understand female psychology. Let's build a community of men who understand that knowledge is protection. Remember, the right woman won't give you these clues because she'll communicate directly when there are problems. She'll fight for the relationship instead of fighting to escape it. And if you're with someone who's giving you these clues, don't take it personally. Take it seriously. Because your peace of mind and self-respect are worth more than any relationship with someone who's already mentally moved on. Until next time, trust what you feel, believe what you see, and never ignore the clues that could save your sanity and your future. Your intuition is your protection. Don't silence it to keep someone comfortable who's already making you uncomfortable. The truth will set you free, even if it hurts first.